It's the radio guy, Mike Prince. Welcome to a Sunday night live edition of the Mike Prince Show. Super Bowl weekend, Kansas City and Tampa Bay getting things done in Super Bowl 55. And we're definitely going to prove that tonight is the fastest hour on radio. Our scheduled guest to join us on the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union Hotline will be head basketball coach Byron Smith of the Prairie A&M University Panthers. Was supposed to have a big game on last night, but due to COVID protocols, that game was postponed. We'll also hear from Shotgun Willie Simmons of the FAMU Rattlers and what's going on in the world of Rattler Nation. New signees, a lot of whispering about was he or was he not going to stay at Rattler Nation. We'll catch up with the both of them guys on tonight. A lot to get in and out of the way, so we're definitely going to hurry up and jump right into tonight's episode. The Prairie View A&M University Panthers bowling team did it again. Coach Glenn White and the Lady Panthers ended up on the first of two roundups in Dallas, Texas. This one was. The Panthers end up winning this round. Second place was Alabama State. Third place was Texas Southern. Coach Glenn White has been doing an extraordinary job with the bowling program. 5 of the last 6 years, if I'm not mistaken, the Panthers have been hoisting up the SWAC championship trophy. Tough weekend for soccer, losing to Incarnate Word 2-1. Always interesting how those matches end up. That one was actually on the campus of Prairie View. Volleyball was canceled, or should I say postponed, or maybe canceled because it was a non-conference game against U of H due to COVID protocol. From my understanding, had quite a challenge with protocol issues due to COVID-19. Of course, men and women's program shut things down. Tennis, if I'm not mistaken, and volleyball. So a lot going on. We actually reached out to Associate Director and Head Trainer, Mr. C.J. Porter, trying to see if we could get some clarity of exactly how everything works out and actual procedures. It's always good to go straight to the source. So we're waiting on a response from that. And we'll definitely get you up to speed when everything comes to the light. And speaking of coming to the light, Texas Southern was able to pull a last-minute game with University of Texas Rio Grande Valley. And they pulled out a last-minute buzzer beater, 77-75, to keep the momentum of Texas Southern flowing going into their bye week, or should we say bye day, of Monday. Both the Panthers and the Tigers scheduled to be off on Monday. But with the Panthers now being in this protocol, one would have to think that the next scheduled games between Jackson and Grambling, if I'm counting right, those games are going to have to be postponed as well. But once again, we'll try to get some clarity, reach out with Mr. C.J. Porter to see what is exactly what. We do have Coach Byron Smith scheduled to come on. He'll be our first guest on the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union Hotline tonight to see exactly what's what. So we'll take a break, get Mr. Smith lined up on the hotline, and we'll also check to see what's going on with the Super Bowl. You're listening to the Mike Prince Show right here on the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Keep it right where you got it, and I promise you we'll be right back. Reflections Paint and Auto Body Shop, located in Waller, Texas, is ready to restore the beauty of your automobile. Whether it's a small dent or a major accident. If your vehicle needs auto body repair, check out Reflections Paint and Body Shop. All repairs are completed by highly skilled and trained professionals. They are located at 2910 Waller Street in Waller, Texas. And just in case you can't get it into them, they provide towing services. Call them today, 936-931-5780. That number again, 936-931-5780.
The station designed with you in mind. The Open Mic Broadcast Network, Prairie View, Texas.
Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union has 13 different locations to better serve you. Locations in Rosenberg, Missouri City, Katy, College Station, Bryan, Brenham, and Waller, Texas. For more information, you can contact them on their toll-free number, 855-391-2149. Or you can send an email to information@bvscu.org. Attention all coaches. Whatever your sport is, we want to tell your story. Dial our 24 hours, 7 days a week message line at 713-570-6736. Leave your game results, team results, and player results on our 24-hour message line, 713-570-6736. Have sports, we'll travel. The Open Mic Broadcast Network, serving the community through faith and athletics, the voice of student athletics. Prairie View Athletic Club has been proudly supporting the Prairie View Athletic Department since 1986. The Prairie View Athletic Club believes in the rich traditions of Prairie View Athletics and all that it has to offer. For more information and details on how to become a member of the Prairie View Athletic Club, call 936-857-5817. A proud supporter of Prairie View Athletics, the Prairie View Athletic Club in Prairie View, Texas. You're listening. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Mike Prince Show live edition. We are now going to the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union hotline. We have the hardest working man in, I won't even say the SWAC, we're going to just say in basketball, college basketball nation. He is none other than head basketball coach of the Prairie View A&M University Panthers, Coach Byron Smith. How you doing this evening, Coach?
Doing well, Mike, and yourself?
Man, I'm not complaining at all. Look, let me first say thank you. It's Super Bowl weekend. The game is live right now, but you were gracious enough to join us on the line tonight, and I don't take that for granted. Appreciate you giving us your time.
Oh, my pleasure. Anytime, Mike.
Well, look, it's been a challenge of a weekend, a disappointing weekend because of the fact the game was not able to be played, but it's one of those things that you'll have to get over. Fortunately, you'll have a bye week on tomorrow. And I see this being somewhat synonymous with the team. When you look at your team on paper at the early preseason projections, they had you pick third. And I know the competitor that you are, you took that as a mental challenge, as a personal note, and apparently you extended that to the team. And I'm saying all that to say this. With the mental toughness that you have to incorporate on your squad, is this going to be even more necessary with the stoppage of your team, with the momentum that you had going?
I don't think so, Mike. I think we're going to pick up where we left off, to be honest with you. We got a tough group, resilient group. We get after it pretty hard. Maybe sometimes our guys may need a little bit of a break to kind of, recharge again. But I don't see this being anything other than somewhere down the line I'll see it as a blessing. But I don't think it's going to halt our play. I think we're still going to come back and be as solid as we were before the stoppage.
Okay, and but I know you say that the game is about a rhythm and this, that, and the other. So are you just extending this one as just a part of the territory, and we're going to keep them lined up, keep them laced tight, and just keep grinding and waiting on your next opponent, and which is going to lead me, is it possible that the next two games between Grambling and Jackson will be postponed as well?
I think they will be, yeah. But I think there's some opportunities to reschedule, one, if not both of those games relatively soon. But that's something that we'll have to discuss with, with those member institutions, just see, if we can't, get one of those games the week of the Pine Bluff Valley homestand. We may need to get one of those games in on a Wednesday. Grambling, most likely, because it's closer. But, we'll let them get done with Alcorn tomorrow night, Grambling, that is, and then maybe have a conversation with them on Tuesday about just what we can do about getting that Monday game possibly rescheduled to the Wednesday or Thursday of the week of Pine Bluff Valley at our next homestand.
Okay, and speaking of rescheduling, were you able to work out a potential scheduled date with Texas Southern?
No, I spoke to their coach, Johnny Jones, and we're going to work on that. That definitely is going to happen. And we're just hopeful that, maybe ESPN can do us a solid maybe and pick it up again, because I think it was going to be, must-see TV type of a game. And I think the city and the state and the country, obviously was excited about it and wanted to see it, just with the rivalry being what it is, and us often getting off to a really strong start. So that's kind of what we're looking to try to do, but we're definitely going to get that one back on the books for sure. That's Texas Southern.
Okay. We're on the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union hotline with head basketball coach Byron Smith of the Prairie View A&M University Panthers. 31 consecutive home wins. Things were looking real good, and all of a sudden we had to stop it. Coach, are you able to recap how this actually unfolded when you get the news that, hey, we're going to have to put a brakes on this thing? What exactly happened? How did it unfold?
Well, I mean, it's still a bit of a mystery to me, because we had one positive test, one positive COVID test. And, I'm of the belief, like everyone else in the country, you have a positive test, you pull that particular kid, and you quarantine him, you test all your other players, multiple days. And if your team and coaches and your staff test negative, then, business as usual. Let's continue to play. Why we don't do that, I don't know. That's kind of above my pay grade. I just do what I'm told to do. I don't necessarily agree with the protocol that we have in place, because I just think that there are ways to not necessarily get around it, but there are ways to be able to still work and keep everybody safe, which is the number one goal, is to keep everybody safe. You got multiple guys, 2, 3, 4 guys that test positive. Yeah, you have to shut down. Everyone has to do it. Some programs have had their season decimated, by COVID. But it was one positive test, and everybody else in our camp, they're solid right now and they're healthy. So I thought we should have gone on. But once again, Mike, is above my pay grade. But it wasn't an outbreak of something that was, so bad to where we had to shut down for 10 days. But again, I just do what I'm asked as a coach.
No problem. And like I said, for the record, we have reached out to the associate director, who's the head trainer, C.J. Porter, and we're waiting on a response back from him. I know he's the one that had more of the answers, and I just was asking how it unfolded. We're talking right now with Coach Byron Smith of the Prairie View A&M University Panthers. Panthers were a little bit delayed. That's what we want to say. Not denied, but delayed.
Right.
Going forward to take on Texas Southern. So now it's in limbo with the protocol that you have to have now a question mark for Grambling Jackson State. So with that, which means now you'll have roughly 2 weeks to get ready for your next opponent.
Yes, it looks like it could be that, and that'll be good. I mean, that'll get us an opportunity to, sharpen our areas that we needed to sharpen, and to continue to get stronger in some areas that we demonstrated strength. So with every negative, I think is always a positive, Mike, and that's kind of how we're taking it. We get a chance to add a couple not new faces, but add a couple pieces that weren't there. Fate Williams, Eric Hester are two, high-impact players. We feel those guys will join the fold once we resume. So I'm excited about that, and being able to add 2 pieces to an already strong team and program. That would make any coach excited and happy, and we can kind of work them back. Fate's coming off of an injury. Eric is coming off of, just not being eligible yet, but he's eligible now to play. So we're excited about adding those two guys and fitting them into the fold and finishing this thing really strong and trying to accomplish some of the goals that we set out as a team and as a program.
Very good. I know last we checked, you were 71% at the line as a team, and I know ideally you want to be 75 and greater, if not 80 and greater. So I guess that's one thing that you can work on during this 2-week stretch is making sure you get those free throws, because free throws are just that. They're free, and it's an opportunity to extend the lead or get back into a game.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know, for some reason, Mike, I need to check my numbers. I thought we were a little higher than 71%, but I know you're the
no.
Right. Yeah. I think we're number one in the league at free throw shooting. I think we're up a little bit higher than that. But you're right. My ideally for me, I want us to be 100%. But I know that's not always realistic to shoot for that or to be able to accomplish that. But I think that you're right. You do need to be at the top of your game at free throw shooting because that's how you finish teams off. That's how you close out games. We can always improve. We can improve in a myriad of areas, and I think we're going to get back to work here pretty soon and attack the areas that we need to improve in to make us a complete team, because I think this team has a lot of potential to do some great things this year and have an opportunity to be one of the better programs, the better teams that Prairie View has seen, in its existence. So we still got a lot to play for. We got another half of a season to play. We're excited about that. Our guys are, optimistic that we're going to get on the other side of this COVID thing and get back to work and get back to having some strong performances.
Absolutely. The magic number right now is 13. We get 13 games and let the dust settles and the best man standing, last man standing, so be it. And with that being said, you'll be able to move toward that three-peat. I like the sound of that, Coach, a three-peat. Like I said, you let me do the talking, you just do the coaching. I got a couple of my comrades and colleagues that we go back and forth, and trust me, I can stand up for both of us and talk enough for both of us. So you let me do all the talking, all right?
Absolutely, Mike. Sounds good. Sounds like a plan.
Yes, sir. Now, Coach, I do understand Tampa Bay just scored. I got to get your projection on who you got in the Super Bowl, and I think I know who, but I know you're a Cowboy fan, but you're going to have to suffer through and give us a choice.
Well, obviously I am a Cowboy fan, die hard, and I don't have as much interest in football if they're not involved in it. But being a Louisiana guy, and I think the Chiefs have more LSU players, more Louisiana guys on the roster than the Buccaneers. And I'm a huge Tyrann Mathieu fan. I always have been since his days at LSU as a Honey Badger. So I'm rooting for the Chiefs right now. It looks a bit glim. They're down 7-3. But I think in the end, they'll win 31-27 Kansas City to go run this thing back and be back-to-back Super Bowl champions.
Okay, well, we got the same score, just different teams. I'm saying 31-27. Somebody's going to be right, though, right?
Always.
Well, look, Coach, I really appreciate you taking time out on tonight. We'll keep things posted and keep me posted and updated on any changes that come along. And, man, we wish you well and enjoy the rest of your weekend, okay?
Thank you, Mike. Always a pleasure you have me, and thank you so much for this opportunity to speak.
No problem at all. That was head basketball coach Byron Smith of the Prairie View A&M University Panthers. Tough time right now because of the fact that the Panthers not only missing yesterday's event, but they're going to be at jeopardy of missing the next two events against Grambling and Jackson State. And sports, athletics, it's about Rhythm Nation, staying active, staying fluid. And I know you take the advantage to work and tighten up on some things, but we're really going to be keeping a close, watchful eye to see exactly how this thing unfolds. What we're going to do, we did reach out to C.J. Porter. He is the associate director, head trainer, and so he can kind of break us down. We don't want to speculate and guesstimate on anything. He's the top man, so we want to go to the source and see exactly where things are with the Prairie View situation right now. But what we're going to do, we're going to take us a break, and when we come back, we will hear more of tonight's episode of the Mike Prince Show Live. As a matter of fact, we got Shotgun Willie Simmons scheduled to come back on top of things with us. And we'll take a break, and we'll be right back.
We would like to take this time to recognize our sponsors and underwriters. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union, Temple of Refuge Ministries, Reflections Paint and Body Shop, Diva Skin Conditioner, Helping Hands Lawn Service, Prairie View Athletic Club, The Purple Drip Daiquiri and Grill. If you or your business would like to be a part of our sponsors and underwriters team, feel free to reach out to us at 832-213-8824. You're listening to the Open Mic Broadcast Network located in Prairie View, Texas for news, sports, information, and inspiration 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the next 7 years of bigger and bigger enrollments, America's grade schools will need nearly 250,000 extra teachers besides those to fill normal vacancies. This great need, plus the growing public interest in education and improvements in schools, make elementary school teaching a more rewarding career than ever, a career that high school and college students should certainly consider. Education holds America's future, perhaps your future.
Drivers and bicyclists both have the right to be on the road and travel safely. And when we're on the road together, safety is a shared responsibility. State law requires drivers to maintain at least 3 feet of clearance when passing bicyclists. And bicyclists should always ride with the direction of traffic and follow all traffic signals. It's safer. It's courteous. It's the law. A message from the Regional Planning Commission Pedestrian and Bicycle Program.
The station designed with you in mind, the Open Mic Broadcast Network, Prairie View, Texas.
Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union is offering 5 $2,000 scholarships to graduating high school seniors who are members of the credit union. The deadline to submit the application is Friday, February 26th, so don't wait to apply. To review eligibility requirements and download the scholarship application, please visit their website at www.bvscu.org and click on the BVSC University tab.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Mike Prince Show Live edition here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Super Bowl 55 is unfolding as we speak. Tampa Bay on top last we checked, 7-3. I got Tampa Bay winning this one, 31-27. And it's not because of Tom Brady. It's because of that Tampa Bay defense. And the fact that Quentin Bell, PV graduate, is on that roster. But we shall see how it all unfolds. What an exciting, interesting week it has been in the world of SWAC football. It has been not even whispering in the wind, roaring in the wind, that Alcorn State would not participate in spring football activities. And it's been one of the worst kept secrets and probably one of the most politically challenged adventures throughout SWAC Nation. We did catch wind that Jackson State also, well, not also, but due to protocol, had put a pause on their football activity, and they launched their Jackson State Sports Network this week. And that is always a good thing. I'm extremely excited about that for several reasons. A lot of people have not heard, and a lot of you have heard why and where I stand on that. And it's a long, detailed event that I have to really and truly take some time to dedicate an entire show to, because it's that deep, it's that complex, and for me to try to give it to you in a Cliff Note setting, it would not do it the justification that's warranted. But there are a lot of moving parts to it that once it's been laid out to you, you will definitely understand exactly what's going on. And I know some of you that are listening are going to say, well, Mike, why do you always have something negative to say? And it's not negativity. It's positivity on doing what's right. That's the way I look at it. If you're going to stand and support something that you strongly believe in, something that is a part of you, something that moves your needle, then if you don't stand up for it, who else would? And that's the position that I take when it comes to defending the recognition necessary, the respect due to the Southwestern Athletic Conference. And any of you that are listening to me right now, if you can't agree that the Southwestern Athletic Conference, football alone, is worth $9 million in TV deals throughout the entire conference, if you think that they're not worth that, then we're just going to have to agree to disagree. How did I come up with $9 million? $9 million is only 3% of the $300 million that ESPN is committed to the SEC. And if I can't get 3%, why are we even, quote unquote, partners? If I can't get 3%. And I hear you right now, well, man, we got to take what we can get, go, who else, and where else can we go? You never know till you try. And I understand we're in the middle of a contract, and it's 24, 25 when that contract extends. I understand that. And I understand that the commissioner, Dr. Charles McClellan, inherited the deal that he has. But it does not remove the obvious that the money offered to the SEC compared to that offered of the SWAC, it's not even 1%. Now, if I am the only one that is associated and connected to the Southwestern Athletic Conference that sees a problem with that, then I guess I'll have to stand alone. But it's no good for us to whisper at the water cooler, chat on lines and group chats, and we don't say anything publicly about it. And that's not being a troublemaker. That's just being someone with their head on the swivel. And I tell you something else, that if you are a Southwestern Athletic Conference supporter, that your head must be on the swivel on, is the next move that could potentially come from the Southland Conference. The Southland Conference is in a very, very peculiar and unique situation of circumstances right now. And their lifelines have been divided between Louisiana and Texas. And you heard the interview, those that listen to this show, with Commissioner Tom Burnett, and he made it clear he did not send a letter of inquiry, but the search firm that represents the Southland Conference sent a letter of inquiry to 4 integral programs that are connected to the Southwestern Athletic Conference. 2 of those programs are tied up into current state systems that, if push comes to shove, political heat could be turned up. It's not speculation. That's a fact. And we have to be very mindful and very watchful about how this series of events unfold. I got to take a break right now. I'm going to try to see if we can catch up with Willie Simmons of the FAMU Rattlers, get caught up with him. I know he's in the middle of this football game, and I appreciate him so much for allowing himself to be tied up. We're going to take us a break, get Brother Simmons on the line, and we'll come back with more of tonight's episode of the Mike Prince Show, Sunday Night Edition.
The station designed with you in mind, the Open Mic Broadcast Network, Prairie View, Texas. At 17 cents a day, you can make a huge impact on our local and regional high school and college student athletic coverage. We provide local talk shows, live game coverage, and much, much more. But we need your support to continue to move forward. Visit our website today at obnradio.com. Click on the PayPal button, which is safe and secure, and become a listening partner today. Will you become part of the Open Mic Broadcast Network team? Visit that website at obnradio.com and become a listening partner today. Serving the community through faith and athletics, the voice of student athletics, the Open Mic Broadcast Network, Prairie View, Texas.
Why should we respect our elders, you may ask? It has been common courtesy for decades to honor and respect those that came before you. These seniors have experienced so much life and endured many challenges that they can be beneficial to generations to come. Younger individuals need to learn the significance of spending time with elders and know ageism is an unfortunate trait to have. Ageism is the inclination to think of older people as debilitated and unworthy of attention. This may be a trait growing in the next group of peers, but knowing the wisdom behind all of these elder stories will help them gain knowledge in the future. It's important not only to be compassionate and polite to your elders, but simply show society that ageism is dead. This message was brought to you by FormontGrandSeniorLiving.com, Lauren Gavin, and Open Mic Broadcast Network.
The station designed with you in mind, the Open Mic Broadcast Network, Prairie View, Texas.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Mike Prince Show, Sunday Night Live Edition. Scoring update, still 7-3. Tampa Bay on top, Kansas City with a big goal line stop. I got on the line with me a man who thinks that quarterbacks are king. Everything revolves around the quarterback. Maybe just because he was a quarterback. Well, I guess once a quarterback, always a quarterback. We bring to the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union hotline none other than Coach Shotgun Willie Simmons. How you doing this evening, sir?
I'm doing really well, Mike. How about you?
Well, I dare not complain, man. You know, we go back and forth. Me being no linebacker, you being no quarterback. You say it all about the quarterback. I say it's all about the defense. That's why Tampa Bay will win. You say Kansas City will win, but we'll say that for another day.
Indeed.
Look, man, you had a very interesting week of events, man. What's going on in Tallahassee?
Some would say that, you know. I'm sure we'll talk about it here shortly, but let's just say this. I'm excited to be the head coach of the Rattlers and had a great signing class on Wednesday. Looking forward to a great 21 season. So I'll let you kind of dive into the specifics of what you want to ask. But, you know, right now just enjoying the Super Bowl and watching some great quarterback play.
Well, you know I'm going to do some diving, don't you? You already know. Well, look, man, it kind of overshadowed was National Signing Day Part 2, I've been calling it. Bring us up to speed on that, and then we'll dig down to the particulars a little bit later. Round us up with what you guys wrapped up for Rattler Nation, and then what you're looking like for spring. Well, not spring.
Well, obviously, like you said, recruiting basically has 2 seasons now with the early signing period and then the normal signing period on the first Wednesday in February. So the first period we did fairly well, picked up some transfers, 5 transfers from 4 from FBS programs, 1 from an LCS program, highlighted by Savion Williams, a 4-star defensive tackle that came to us from the University of Tennessee. Also signed another defensive end, Stephon Atkinson from Western Kentucky, you know, former 3-star athlete out of near Orlando, Florida. Jeremiah Pruitt, big, tall wide receiver, 6'5", 225, 3-star from receiver coming from Colorado State. And then Jay Williams, you know, big 6'6", 330 offensive lineman, 3-star
that came from Florida State. So did really well in the early period. And then, last Wednesday, had a really good class by most standards, picked up some more big time recruits and feel like we really upgraded our team depth, team speed, and more so size. So great overall class, and we're excited about the direction we're headed.
Okay, and with that, you get your guys ready. Of course, now it's about the vision of the Southwestern Athletic Conference and being focused, because you opted out of spring play for the MEAC. And was it an easy choice of doing that, or was it part of it saying, well, look, we're not going to be here anyway, why waste the time, let's just move forward?
Well, it was a combination of both. I mean, we looked at just trying to put a spring season together and what that would entail. Obviously, the way the MEAC structured the two divisions, I guess, into divisions with the North and South, to try to cut down on travel. But the fact that we weren't able to have fans and those type of things still just felt like it just really didn't make much sense financially and logistically to try to pull it off. And so it would have been nice to try to end our MEAC reign with the championship, but we're going to put all our eggs into the swag basket and go full steam ahead.
All right, we're on the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union hotline with Shotgun Willie Simmons of the FAMU Rattlers. Exciting week, signed some new ball players to the squad. And this is something that I want to ask you, because you're a numbers guy. You like crunching numbers, and you're an egghead. People don't realize it, but you're somewhat of an egghead. So let me ask you this. What are the percentages of young men sticking it out with the programs that they initially signed on to?
As far as be a little bit more specific.
With the letters of intent, the guys, people make a big claim, man, this is the best class we've had in 20 years. But a lot of these kids, they look good on signing day, but a lot of them, you're looking for on milk cartons because they just disappear out of the system. So I'm asking you, what is the percentage rate on average, and you might not have an accurate number of this, of the guys that actually stay around with the teams they initially signed with?
Well, I think the percentages are pretty high. The only guys that typically don't stick around are guys that don't qualify academically. So oftentimes we'll take a risk on a guy who may be borderline academically, thinking that he may pull through in the end. If that happens, then obviously you get them in school in the summer or fall. And if they don't, then, most of the time we have plans to send those guys to junior colleges. So, again, but for the most part, if you sign 20 guys, I like to think between 17 or 18 of those guys are going to show up on campus, because at least here at FAMU, we don't make it a mission of signing guys that can't get into school. And we know FAMU has pretty strict academic requirements, admissions requirements. And so we have to be very strategic in who we recruit first and foremost. But we don't make it our business to sign a bunch of guys who will not qualify academically nor get admitted into school.
So does it make recruiting that much more challenging? Let's say you got a kid, and I guess the term everybody's using now, he's a dog, but he's on the bubble academia, and you got a kid who's a puppy, but he's a dog in the classroom. And do you take that risk of one over the other, or do you just kind of like close your eyes and pick one?
Well, I guess it depends on what the emphasis is. If you're really trying to build your roster and you're more concerned about what the product is going to be on the field on Saturdays, you're more concerned about recruiting guys that are going to get in school and that are going to be in your program hopefully for 4 or 5 years. If you're just interested in winning signing day and going out saying, hey, we signed a bunch of 3-4 star recruits, but knowing that a lot of those guys aren't going to qualify, then obviously the emphasis is just trying to win signing day. So it really varies from team to team. My experiences suggest that most of us at this level are interested in putting together a football team that can be competitive on Saturdays. We're really just not starting to get into this craze of rankings and stars and recruiting class rankings and all those things, because, again, you look at the teams that have won championships in both conferences over the last few years, they did so with a bunch of unranked players. So not saying that rated guys aren't the way to go. If you got a chance to get a good football player, if he's rated 2, 3, or 4 stars or whatever, you get him. So at the end of the day, recruiting is about evaluating. You evaluate the guys that you feel will be the best fit for your team, If you're recruiting all stars, you'll find yourself like a lot of Power 5 teams that have seen themselves not perform as well because they're recruiting stars and not recruiting football players. And so I think it goes to what your emphasis is. But our emphasis has always been recruit good football players, whether they're 1 star, no stars, or 10 stars, and get them prepared to play and try to put a good football team together.
Okay, very good. We're on the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union hotline with Coach Shotgun Willie Simmons of the FAMU Rattlers. And, Coach, one thing that appears to be blowing up in the faces, in particular student athletes, was the transfer portal. This was supposed to have been the free agency, if you would, of collegiate athletics. And right now, last report I read, it was like 1,500 kids in this transfer portal and like 954 of them with no place to go. And with the ability now to have 4 games of a freshman or underclassman play before you decide to redshirt them, does that kind of put the favor in I'll take my chance on recruiting high schoolers than dealing with guys from the transfer portal?
Well, again, I think it just goes to your overall philosophy. And you have to be very strategic. Whether you want to build your program off of transfers, junior college and 4-year transfers, or whether you want to build your program off of high school guys that are going to be in your program for 4 or 5 years. And so I know each coach is different. I think there are obviously times where you need to go into the portal or look for junior college guys maybe. You know, if you're teen at a position or young at a position, you may need to go get an older guy. But if you have a lot of experience at a position, say us at wide receiver, for example, then it really doesn't make much sense for us to go and get a transfer receiver, you know, because one, it's going to be hard for him to come in and play in front of Xavier Smith, Chad Hunter, David Manigault, then they Ray, guys that have been in the program and been productive for 3 or 4 years. It's going to be hard for those guys to come in and play in front of them, and you don't really sign transfers unless you think they're going to come in and play right away. So, again, I think it just goes to your overall program philosophy. Every coach is different. There's no right or wrong answer, but just kind of where we look at things. We only recruit transfers when there's an immediate need.
Okay, very good. Now, if I'm not mistaken, my calculation could be off. This will be your 7th year as a head coach this season coming up?
Yes.
Okay.
7th year as a head coach, six football seasons, because obviously we'll miss the 20 season.
You're right, exactly. I knew the number was close. I just wanted to make sure with this COVID thing, everything been thrown off. And with that being said, for the most part of your head coaching career, you've had 2 of your aces in the holes who have gone, let's say, to greener pastures. That's Coach Street and Coach Jackson. Do you find yourself walking alone right now? I know you have to replace them, but is it kind of weird looking to your left and right and not seeing either one of those guys?
Well, I'm very happy for those guys. You know, one of the things that I said in my very first staff meeting is that, you know, when I signed contract, I think I signed a 4-year contract at Prairie and then signed a 5-year at FAMU, you know, was, hey, if after my contract is up, if I'm still here, that's fine. If you're still here, then we have some problems. And so those 2 guys have obviously moved on and, you know, positioned themselves to do great things. You know, Coach Jackson is in the SEC now as an analyst, and Coach Street was able to go to his alma mater and you know, can coach defensive line at his alma mater. And so very, very happy for those guys. But I've lost a few coaches during that time. You know, Kenneth Gilstrap went back to his alma mater, Middle Tennessee State. Joe Henry went to the SEC to coach at Missouri and left us. So, you know, again, the room looks a little different, but that's a good thing. That shows that we're doing the right things. I haven't fired anybody. So if I had fired guys, it'd be a different looking room. That would suggest that we're not doing things the right way. But the fact that if those guys are moving on to bigger and better things for themselves, their families, and their careers is a testament to the work that they put in over the last 6 years.
Absolutely. And when you talk about moving on, and when it's time to do that, it can be a most difficult and a challenging decision to make in one's career path. Speaking of the latest series of events that you had to deal with were you not going to stay, were you going to the SEC in the lengths of South Carolina, what led to all of that, and how did you come up to determine your final answer?
Well, I think whenever you do things the right way, when you work hard and you have success on the field, I think people take interest in that, obviously. And I'm blessed to have drawn the eyes of the new head coach and his staff. Recommendation from one of my former colleagues, and so it was a tumultuous few days, just trying to pray on it and see if everything was right. But again, my prayer always to the Lord is place my feet where they need to be, and through days of prayer and through countless conversations with my wife, my athletic director, their coach there at South Carolina, we end up making the decision that FAMU was the place I needed to be. And I have no regrets. I'm excited about the opportunity to be the head coach of FAMU. I have a great group of guys. I have a great coaching staff, great administration that's supportive and behind me. And, great things are in store for this program. And so, again, I'll be the head coach of FAMU until the Lord sees fit otherwise. And obviously right now there's things I need to do, things that we need to do as a program. And that's my main focus, is getting those things done as quickly as possible, and then building a sustainable program so that when the time comes for me to move on in whatever capacity that may be, that the program can continue to rise and move forward in a positive manner.
Okay, so when you say things that need to be done, not want to be done, what would you say would be, I guess, your short wish list for things that you see that need to be done to extend your program at FAMU?
Well, obviously, we are, like most of us, a low-resource institution. And so, to me, it always goes in the form of creating more opportunities to get resources. And that's something that I've had extensive conversations with my administration about. It's figuring out ways to staff us properly, support staff, medical staff, weight room staff, equipment staff, academic staff. At the end of the day, it's getting these guys the things that they need to be successful and giving them all the opportunities and resources to be successful. And when you do that, I think you have a program that's sustainable, and that's something that we've committed ourselves to doing.
Okay. Now, I do understand you guys recently inked a deal with, I want to say, Peak Sports. Is that who it was? Peak Sports?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Could you explain how did you come to that, and is there a potential revenue flow partnering up with them?
Well, that deal was done by our administration. I didn't have much of anything to do with the negotiations. I'm not very familiar with Peak Sports. I do know that they've done a lot of great work with a lot of FCS programs, and we were very excited about the partnership. So there will be some short-term and long-term benefits from being with Peak Sports. And so I don't know the specifics. Again, that's a court negotiation. Keith McClooney question, but just the conversation that I've had with him is that it's a very good deal, and we're going to definitely see some benefits from it sooner rather than later. Okay.
Well, it's all geared up now toward the fall 2021. I don't have to ask you who's first on your list, or your opening SWAC debut.
Well, not everyone knows them. If you're a Rattler or the JSU Tiger, you know. But for everyone listening who may not be as familiar with our schedule, we do open up in Miami Gardens in Hard Rock Stadium versus Jackson State.
That should be a very exciting game on and off the field. And had you had a chance to talk with your old boss, AD Director Robinson, about the potential matchup?
We spoke shortly after he hired Dion, and I congratulated him on the hire, and just wished him the best. And obviously, we were on a call together a few weeks ago. Didn't have a chance to really talk much. He just texted me afterwards and said, "Great job." But he's an athletic director. He's doing his best job to try to build a program. I'm trying to build a program, and in this COVID environment, there's so many external things that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. You don't have as much time to catch up with your buddies and friends and colleagues maybe as you have in the past. And so I'm sure once things slow down for the both of us, we'll be able to catch up and see what's going on. And then I'm sure that week leading up to the Orange Blossom Classic, we'll have much dialogue and as we prepare to kick off the 2021 season with what we believe will be the most anticipated game definitely at the FCS level, but potentially one of the most anticipated games in all of college football.
Yes, buddy. It is. They say the dawn of a new era. I don't know who's the bigger trash talker between Robinson and Gaucher, man. Look, you've worked for both of them. I think Gaucher might have them beat by a step or two.
Well, the thing about both of them is they're very witty, so they have a way of talking a little trash, but it's subtle. It's not that old school trash talk. It's that witty, intelligent, subtle trash talking. So, but again, it's all a part of the pageantry. Again, without football, we have to find a way to keep things light, keep things fun. This is a game that we're all very, very excited for on both sides, rather than the issue titles alike. But you think about it, two of the best bands, in the country, two historic football programs with as much history and tradition, as anyone, and then opening up in a classic that has been a staple in college football, particularly black college football, for a very long time. And so we're very excited about this partnership with the Orange Blossom Classic. We're extremely excited to be opening up this season against Jackson State and their new coach, primetime Deion Sanders. And, again, there's going to be a lot of hype about it around the game, and we can't wait to strap it on and see what they have.
As old ring boxer referees say, let's get it on. Definitely time are coming, and we're waiting, I guess, as they say, with bated breath to see the football season as we once upon a time did in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Coach Shotgun Willie Simmons, our guest on the Brazos Valley Credit Schools hotline. Coach, I thank you so much, man, giving you some closing thoughts and comments, sir, and the floor is now yours.
Well, my thoughts about watching the Super Bowl right now, I went with Kansas City, so it looked like we're about to pick it up a little bit, down 14-3 right now. But again, just, excited about where things are headed within this program. We have an amazing administration, led by Vice President and Director of Athletics, Courtney Gaucher. The support of our University Administration and leadership under the direction of our President, Dr. Larry Robinson, and the best fan base in America, Rattler Nation. So we're excited about where we're headed. Again, it seems like it's been forever since we played a football game, but our guys are resilient. They have great attitudes, and I think when the time comes for us to strap it up again, it's going to be a sight to see. And so I definitely appreciate you, brother, as always, for giving me a platform, and just look forward to a great spring season, hopefully, and I'll be able to watch some football and then prepare to finally play some this fall.
All right, my man. Always remember what the old man tell you. Defense win championships. I don't care how bad your boy is. It's the defense that's going to make the difference. Man, I appreciate you. Love you like a fat kid loves candy, man. I got to take a break right now. Thank you so much for joining us, Coach Shotgun Willie Simmons on the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union Hotline. We're going to take a break. He already gave the score update. Tampa Bay 14, Kansas City 3. It gets rough sometime, baby, but somebody's got to do it. We're going to be right back. You're listening to the Mike Prince Show live, Sunday night edition.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth! I have a greater responsibility than you can possibly fathom. You don't want the truth because deep down in places you don't talk about at parties, you want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Join us for a daily episode of the Mike Prince Show right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network.
Valley Schools Credit Union is offering 5 $2,000 scholarships to graduating high school seniors who are members of the credit union. The deadline to submit the application is Friday, February 26th, so don't wait to apply. To review eligibility requirements and download the scholarship application, please visit their website at www.bbscu.org and click on the BVSC University tab.
We would like to take this time to recognize our sponsors and underwriters. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union, Temple of Refuge Ministries, Reflections Paint and Body Shop, Diva Skin Conditioner, Helping Hands Lawn Service, Prairie View Athletic Club, The Purple Drip Daiquiri and Grill, If you or your business would like to be a part of our sponsors and underwriters team, feel free to reach out to us at 832-213-8824.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union Hotline, closed out with Mr. Shotgun Willie Simmons from FAMU. Also heard from Brother Byron Smith of the Prairie A&M University Panthers. 14-3 is the score. Last update we had. Kansas City on the short end, but still a lot of football to be played. And speaking of football to be played, of course, the hotbed news throughout the Southwestern Athletic Conference is that Alcorn State has said that they will not participate in spring football unofficially. The reason I say unofficially is because they hadn't let the Southwestern Athletic Conference know. And we spoke about the economic impact that that could have on your TV partner in the case of ESPN. ESPN, of course, the highlighted network for SWAC conference play. And from a business perspective, if my biggest fish in the pond is not willing to participate, what value do you have, or subsequently, what impact does it have on your value? Alcorn, by far, has been a fine-tuned machine on the football field. And you could say close second, Southern, Grambling would be your top three programs of consistency for the last 5-6 years or so. Those who get some immediate attentions would be Prairie View, Jackson State. And it's always good when those teams are doing well for the overall brand. But when your sexiest piece of the brand is not a willing participant, and the wait to the last moment that you've waited to announce or not to announce that you would or would not be participating in the spring, it puts the conference in a jam, no doubt. But is it enough to put the conference in a jam to where they potentially, and I'm just speculating right now, I don't want nobody to go all off and say, oh my God, they're going to do it. But would you consider fining Alcorn State if they go through and don't participate in spring? We heard that Dr. McClendon was saying that he wanted to make sure that you use this as leverage for more television coverage. But now, that's at risk, that's at jeopardy. Still a lot to be told, a lot to be discovered that we do not yet know. Don't forget, we are going to continually reach out to Prairie View A&M University to try to find out the remnants of exactly how long will Panthers basketball be out of commission. We know about this Saturday, but following the protocol could impact next Saturday and Monday's events between Grambling and Jackson State. We'll keep on the grind for that. We thank you so much for joining us on tonight. Thank our guests, Byron Smith and Willie Simmons, for joining us on the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union Hotline. Thank you guys, and remember to follow me on Twitter at The Mike Prince Show. The YouTube channel is Open Mic Broadcast Network. Our website is obnradio.com, and our 24-hour dial-in message line, 713-570-6736. I am about to exit stage left, but I do thank you guys, as always, for joining in with us. Don't forget, if the creek don't rise and the Lord delays us coming, we'll do it all over again Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince, and as always, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.